Stream 1, Stream 2, attention everybody. The views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of Axe Ministry, Axe Media Group, and or its affiliate and subordinate ministries and or nonprofits. Some of this content may be adult in nature, so please use discretion as you're watching it with your kids. Pull a Dr. Paul there. Good morning. Coming to you live from Axe Media Group headquarters here in beautiful Springfield, Missouri. It's the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay, with your hosts, Matt and Jay. We're here today by ourselves, but that's okay. Today's topic, have a wonderful day, and other phrases and words that we use wrong or too much. It's nothing short of a miracle. It's the way you pull my heart to you. I am yours forevermore. You have closed the door. Morning, Steve Schultz, right out of the gate. Boom. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay. My name is Matt. It's hard to fade that out sometimes because you like fade it to zero, and then whenever you move your finger, it moves the volume back up. Have you done that before?
Yeah, I have, but I just do it because I want those lines. I want those lines to play right up to nails.
Yeah.
I might start fading it out another line later so that it gets into the chorus.
Yeah.
And fade it out in the chorus.
For the first time. That's a good one. Good morning, Larry Melton. What?
Just the way you were singing that reminded me of that movie, America as a president. Yeah. Before he's done. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I want to watch that. That's from that movie. Here Comes the Boom with Kevin.
Yes.
Kevin.
Great movie.
Kevin. What's his name?
Kevin James.
Yes, Kevin James.
America is a person. You really got to commit to that.
Yes, and that's actually a professional fighter that's doing that. That's
he
a great.
Crushed his neck training for a fight,
and so he had to retire, huh?
Crushed his neck with his own muscles.
What?
Yeah.
So how do you crush your neck with your own muscles?
You overdevelop your muscles so that your skeletal system can't withstand their strength. They can't.
Man, what an opening line when you're meeting somebody. It's like, why did you quit fighting? Well, I crushed my neck with my own muscles.
Yeah,
they got so strong.
Yeah.
That I broke my own neck.
Yeah. Imagine recovery from that.
Ugh.
Waiting for your muscles to weaken and
Johnny Rooster's going to have a
America.
Johnny Rooster's going to have a female bodybuilder on his show Wednesday or Friday. It's
good.
Wednesday. No, it's Friday.
That is going to be a good thing.
Yeah. So we do want to
been through talk about
it's well, that's not the one. It's a different one, but yeah, the one you're talking about. She had her
esophagus
collapse.
No, it ruptured,
Man.
all the way down.
And then she got better and started working out again, and it happened again.
Yeah,
because she was supposed to come here on a Saturday and arm wrestle Rooster, which I still think that I was rooting for her on that one.
I was rooting for Rooster.
I know, that's what's funny. It's the conflict that right there.
I always root for the underdog.
Yeah. Oh well, I do too.
Does that
usually?
What does that tell you?
But I think
who I thought really was going to win. I was rooting for Rooster because I root for the underdog.
So I see. That's a very political way to do it.
Yes.
So.
But I think he was preparing.
You think he was preparing?
Yeah, I think he was getting ready for it. He didn't want to be too embarrassed, and he wanted to be able to make it last. Whereas if he just came in there weak as a noodle,
well,
it would have been start and finish in the same gunshot.
I don't think that. I think that it was on purpose that all of a sudden the camera stopped recording right as he was arm wrestling her.
Yeah.
So that he said it was a draw. Brewster, did you lose?
He didn't do this. He didn't do the big wrestle.
No, but I'm saying like he did it on a little video.
Yeah.
Where it showed him getting ready to arm wrestle her, and all of a sudden the video stopped working.
Yeah.
So,
which I wouldn't think somebody with her injury and her profession, her chosen profession, because bodybuilding is not for strength.
No,
it's for size and symmetry.
Yeah,
and definition.
And some people go overboard with it.
Yeah,
I was in the gym this one time, and I saw a kid that I went to high school with. And when he was in high school, he was a beanpole, really skinny. He ate like a horse, but he was just really skinny. Well, I walked up and I saw him, and
shape, symmetry, and definition.
Yeah, this guy's arms are like this big around, right? And his shoulder muscles come up to like his ears.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, it's just funny to me that he would think that I believed him. Because I was like, so what kind of supplements are you using? So I can know, so I can go get, I want to, protein whey. That's it. It's like, okay, I believe you. Protein whey, I don't think would do that. Do you think,
yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you work hard enough.
The acne on his face kind of gave it away too, that he wasn't on just protein.
Not always.
No,
because acne is a common thing for young people anyway.
Well, no,
there's no way really to judge. A lot of
adults.
The way to judge that probably would be you would look for a change in character. So steroids in some people.
No, Jay did not ride his motorcycle today.
Changes their character. No, I haven't been riding it.
It's hard to put your helmet on.
Yeah, it hurts.
And the wind hurts your neck.
Yeah. So
good morning, Steve McAllister.
But usually I think they use the steroids. They alternate. They use the steroids in high weight to add bulk, I think, and then they work on the definition. They don't use the steroids for that part. So they bulk it up and then define it. Bulk it up and define it.
So they
work on their symmetry to make sure that one size doesn't get bigger than the other.
Yeah, because that can happen.
And they can't tell how it's going to turn out until after they define that bulk.
There's this guy, I think he's in the Dominican Republic. He injects this stuff into his muscles to make them get bigger. It's basically like vegetable oil.
Oh.
And like his arms.
Are we doing commercials today?
No, I don't think so. His arms, you have these normal looking arms and this huge, massive thing here that looks just totally off-putting. It looks so weird.
That wouldn't pass a competition.
No. I've seen some people that I live
just
with.
Under the skin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, there's something that he was injecting to make his muscles look bigger.
Oh.
And they looked bigger, but there was no other part of him. You could tell, like it was almost like he had breast implants.
Yeah.
In his deal. In his arms.
Very strange.
And I also saw a guy who had breast implants, pec implants.
Yeah.
But what he got were breast implants.
Oh.
So he wanted to do a cheaper breast implant. So he went down to Mexico where the doctors are, then this particular doctor he was a plastic surgeon.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was actually certified or not. But
probably not in the U.S.
He ended up with breasts, not pecs.
Yeah.
So be careful. That's a whole other show for a whole other day. Larry says, I need to bulk up. I lost a lot of weight when I was recovering from the pain. That's, yeah. And you were not exactly big before. So you've always been lanky, Larry. So today we're talking about, like, I was walking out of the the gas station.
Yeah.
There's a complete stranger. He held the door open for me. I said, thank you, sir. You have a wonderful day. And I thought, wonderful day. What does it mean to have a wonderful day? It means to have a day full of wonder. Every day can't be a wonderful day. Otherwise, there won't be wonder.
You'd be overwhelmed.
Yeah. And it's because when you say wonderful, full of wonder. I mean, we're talking seeing things that you've never seen before that just blow your mind. That's that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So we use a lot of these words too much. Or
I started
wrong.
saying, I hope you have a wonderful day, because I think that has more meaning.
Yeah.
It's about how your wish for them.
Yeah.
But also the reason I started saying it that way is because I found out that in Europe, they find it offensive to tell people to have a wonderful day.
Because it's like you're ordering them.
Yeah. It's like, who are you to tell me what to do?
Right.
It just sounds different to them.
And then somebody, I can't remember who it was. He was talking about when you say that, like, be blessed. That is you, like, trying to force the universe, if you will, to bless them.
Yeah. I agree with that, though. I think the Bible says to bless and not curse. And I find myself in my mind when I'm angry, cursing people. And I have to say, whoa, Lord, please don't. Yeah, that was not a request, Lord. If it came across as a request, please, I withdraw that request.
I withdraw my request.
Forgive me for,
Awesome is a word, and then we were going to talk about that. Awesome is
awesome.
another word that we use too much, and wrong. We actually use that word wrong.
Yeah.
Like if someone says, yeah, I milked a cow for the first time today. Someone says, awesome. But awesome means to be full of awe.
Now, milking a cow for the first time would be.
Really?
Yes. Have you ever milked a cow?
Not actually, no.
Well, yeah, it is awesome.
Is it?
Yes.
It's amazing. Now, I can see, I bet you, if you were to actually be a professional cow milker, because they are there. They are out there. A buddy of mine used to milk cows for a living, and he said every morning he would get his cup of coffee and wait until he got out to milk the cows before he would put anything in it. And he would right underneath in the, what do they call those? The teat, right? Yeah. And he would squirt like milk right out of the udder into his coffee and stir it up and drink it.
Oh yeah.
Man, that sounds, I remember
I had cream in it.
I had a grandma when I was a kid, and I remember this. She had a cattle farm, a dairy farm. She always had fresh cow's milk, non-pasteurized, and the cream gets kind of clumpy, so you have to stir it up real good. Oh man,
I never saw it clumpy.
Well,
I saw it like it's like an oil slick on the water.
Is it?
Yeah,
it was amazing.
But it rises, and you scoop it off and make butter and whipped cream and
and fresh farm fresh
cheese.
butter. It almost makes you want to get a cow and bring it into the city.
If you have enough land, it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
It really is. But you have to have you actually have to have several cows, because they only milk for a certain amount of time. And so you have to have, so if they milk for 3 months or 6 months, if they have milk 3 months, you have to have 4 cows, and then you rotate them out with the bull.
Jackie says, I am offended by this topic. LOL.
Oh.
I think she was joking.
But yeah, you kind of fill the udder by pushing it up to the bag, and then you pinch it off. You have to pinch it off real tight, and then you squeeze the milk out.
Yeah, so you're basically, now you'll see calves. They're sitting there. They'll be, drinking from the udder, and they'll sit there and hit it with their head.
Yeah.
To fill the teat.
It
back
also
up.
The cow lets down. Then it's also like it's also like if you're full and you have to pee. So they actually get full like that.
Oh.
And then as soon as the water hits it, they stop holding it and they let it down, and they'll just start spraying out on the ground.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So you've milked cows before?
Then. Oh yeah. Yep. Milked them by hand just for the experience, but I was actually in a milk farm, so we would put the thing on there, and it's suction cups up to all 4, and it has a.
Oh, so it has a diaphragm that.
Yeah. Yep. And then there's a glass bulb where you see the milk all coming down from each.
So you had all the milk you could drink if you wanted it. about.
Oh yeah, farm life is good food, good eat. It's good. It's a good life, really.
Yeah. It's a hard life.
and hard
Yeah.
work.
We did not practice that.
You
folks.
get it's like construction. You get long times off because of the weather, but then during that time, you're usually repairing all of your equipment and tightening the loose chains on the big equipment that you got. Where it's not convenient to go out there and just tighten the chain like you would on your bike if the bike chain's loose.
Yeah, that's like, and a lot of people say, like, oh, I just want to live in the country on a farm, and just that would be the simple life. It is not simple. It is far from simple.
It's pretty simple. I mean, I thought it was pretty simple. It wasn't. What I mean by simple is not so complicated.
Right.
Where you're scheduling every minute of your day.
Right.
Carefully, and every day brings a whole new set of challenges. You kind of are in a relaxed atmosphere, and the one I went to was different than most because it was also people who were Mennonites, I think, and they defected from the Mennonite church. So they didn't have TVs. They listened to radio an hour a day.
Oh, wow. So they didn't overdo the technology at all.
No. And then
Morning, Susan Burroughs.
When they weren't listening to the radio together as a family, which was really amazing because you get so much from that hour of radio and you really talk about what you heard. You know what I mean? As a family. So you kind of gain each other's perspective. You build each other up. You decide what you think of it together. And it's a pretty interesting life. It's a good life.
They probably,
the food, boy, you can eat.
No, they probably wouldn't. They probably don't listen to radio now. I mean, the radio now is so full of.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Radio has changed probably.
Yeah, a lot. No, who listens to? Not a lot of people actually listen to radio anymore. I'm pretty sure more than I realize. I was gonna do something. Man, my brain is just passing gas a lot these days.
I'd recommend it to anybody. Don't expect it to be easy, though.
It is not physically. It is not easy. It's probably the farthest thing from easy.
Yep.
Because it's farm life starts early.
Yeah.
Like you're up at 4:00. Probably earlier.
Yep. If you cut hay and then there's rain coming, you've got this much time to do it.
Yeah.
And you got to get it in because otherwise it'll mold or mildew.
Yeah, and that'll kill an animal.
Well, they won't eat it. They'll just stomp it in the ground.
Yeah. So then it's worthless.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it would work as bedding.
Yeah.
But,
Yep. And when you figure at $3 a bale and all that you don't bale and get to use, you have to buy.
Jackie said, I always thought farm life was involved a lot of lemonade drinking under shade trees, but not so much.
It does that too, though. It does.
Yeah. And by simple life is, it sounds amazing.
Everybody has a part to play too, and they all depend on each other.
Yeah.
Which is a really different kind of thing. We have jobs outside the home. And we all kind of have dependencies in all different places in order for society and the city to work right.
Yeah.
But on a farm, you kind of just depend on each other a lot more.
Absolutely.
Everybody has to do their part, and they have to do it well. They have to do it on time, or else it just doesn't work. And everybody does. They come through,
Back when my grandpa was a kid, back in the 20s.
Yeah.
He lived in the rural area of Carbondale, Illinois.
Wow.
And he said that every year during harvest season, you wouldn't find a single boy in school.
No.
Because they were at home helping bring in the harvest.
Oh, yeah.
And that's cool. And the families were very close. That's back whenever a parlor was cool. Like I read this book by Laura Ingalls Wilder called Farmer Boy. And it talks in there, it basically gives you a glimpse into old-fashioned farm life. And, they, on Sundays after church, they had people over and they entertained in the parlor, the formal parlor.
Which are big.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's like, you don't go in there throughout the regular times. Like you don't.
Well, on a farm, you're usually pretty dirty and muddy too. Because dirt is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Basically.
You're toiling with the earth.
Your life is the dirt. Yep,
yeah.
is in
That's
the dirt.
getting back to the basic, you know.
And you know me.
Yeah.
I love dirt.
Yeah.
You add water to it and you got mud.
Oh yeah. And then the mud pies.
Mud pies.
Who here likes mud pies? I got paid 10 cents a bale, Susan said, when I hauled hay for my neighbor in the 1960s.
Hmm.
And I got about 20 cents a bale.
Yeah.
15 cents a bale. I can't remember. It's been so long. But my parents just kind of loaned me out to anybody that needed me for that. Just like, hey, Matt will help you.
Baling?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, bucking hay, we called it. You got to hit it on your knee and throw it up as far as you can.
Yeah.
To the person that's on the trailer. Things going really slow. You know, I got to drive the truck sometimes. That was funny.
2 or 3 times a year, depending on the rains and the sun.
Yeah. Yeah. 10 cents a bale back in the 60s. That's insane. You've got to figure, you know, you have 1,000 bales that you move. That's 10,000 cents, right?
1,000 bales is a lot of bales.
Yes. And before the day, we're kind of off our topic a bit, but not really. Simpler times.
That'd be an unusual amount for a farmer, except one that actually makes their living on hay. They're not using 1,000 bales; they're selling those.
Right. Well, like we get
Unless
like
it's
100
a huge operation.
We get about 170 bales.
Yeah.
Every year.
Out of your field?
Well, no, it's saying that's what we buy.
Oh, you buy.
Like 170 bales or something like
a
that.
year. Yeah.
And boy, those guys are professionals. He brings out, he's got his 3 boys.
Yeah.
And
they test the soil. They make sure they're seeded in right proportions.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, his boys come out there and they'll unload a whole trailer full of hay like in like 20 minutes.
Which is what? Alfalfa, clover, and
roan.
Blue.
No, not roan. What is it?
Well, there's also horse hay and cattle hay, which are different.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't want to feed them the same thing.
No, and you don't want to get a bunch of alfalfa bales either, because that'll what they call what do they call that? Founder. That'll founder a horse if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And that's almost the end all for a horse. If they founder real bad, they'll
grain.
Oh, yeah.
Smells itchy. The stink stays on you after your shower. You still stink.
My mom's horse, the one that she had to get rid of this horse after Dad passed away. Happy birthday, Dad, by the way. If you're listening, he's probably not, because he's in heaven right now. So, but yeah, he would have been 73 today. Sorry, that's funny. It's a funny sound.
Who would have been 73?
Dad.
Yeah.
Dad would have been 73 today. It's his birthday. Where was I even going?
He didn't seem 73 to me.
No.
He didn't seem 72.
No. It's he was all the time doing stuff. All the time.
People kind of stay that same age in your mind, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
So, what was I going to I was going to say something. I was talking about
honoring.
We had to give this horse diet grain because it would gain weight really, really easily and really fast, and this horse would get fat.
Yeah.
So we had to put a grazing muzzle on him and everything. And like you could definitely tell. And we didn't overfeed him. We had to feed him half the grain as the others.
Yeah.
And because he got really fat. Like it's like somebody with really, really, really bad metabolism. Yeah. So but when the horse was thinned out, man, he was a beautiful horse.
And you can only change your metabolism so much. There is something going on with metabolism in the world, because obesity is not always just an eating issue. There are people who are obese who eat less than someone of equal height and lifestyle, who just gain more weight from their food.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe it's a more efficient.
Yeah.
Or there's something, though. There's something going on that's not just lack of self-control.
Yeah. And that's our DNA, basically. I mean, it's corrupting the further we get into humanity, the worse our DNA is becoming.
Yeah.
Because you got the genetically modified foods and things like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to tell you guys the winners
Oh,
of the contests.
yes.
2 of them are sitting right here, right now. I got to find the text message to make sure I'm giving it right here.
Steve Schultz says he can watch TV and gain weight.
African sodden grass. That's what Larry Melton said they grew. Susan Burrows said, my grandpa planted Lespedenza hay, which, I mean, hay, that sounds very flowery. Was there a lot of flowers in it? Hold on a second. Let me find it.
It's probably a certain mix, a proportion of different.
The winners of this year's competitions, AxeFest competitions, the music competition, Matt Pearson, that's myself, won that one. Thank you guys and everybody who voted. Talent competition was won by Donna Kilmurray.
Way to go, Larry. Woo! Point.
What did you say?
He said Sudan grass. He had Jackie's words out before she did.
That's funny. And the reigning champ of the sandwich competition, Jason Cobb.
Woo!
The reigning, and he actually put a crown emoji on that whenever he announced it. And the sandwich king, but it's a crown instead of the word king, Jason Cobb.
2 years.
So he used an emoji. Now, are you going to use this same sandwich until it loses?
I don't know. You can get bored with it. And this year's sandwich was not the same. It was a classic Italian kind of.
It was a very good sandwich.
It was carefully prepared to be as good as it could be. Both years. But the second year was a little different. I used
white bread,
real cilantro or whatever it's called,
yeah.
Which is very bitter. And so I did my taste test the night before to kind of make sure everything was right.
We'll call that R&D.
Yeah. The cilantro was so bitter, but it had a very unique and interesting flavor that came in after this harsh, strong bitterness that I did want. So I added some salt, and that helped it a little bit, but there was another end of the bitterness that was too strong, so I added some brown sugar, and that really did it. And so then when I made the sandwich here that day, I used a little less cilantro, probably not enough actually, and then because otherwise everybody would have noticed something very unique about it. And then I did the salt, did the cilantro, and then I did the brown sugar.
Yeah, it was amazing.
But it's good that nobody noticed that there was brown sugar on it. That means I did just the right amount.
Yeah.
And nobody said it was bitter.
No, it was great. It was a perfect blend of salty and, you have the spicy, the
Parsley,
herby taste.
Fresh parsley.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Which Jim Whining used some of your parsley on his. And that's one of the things. He said, I see you used parsley instead of lettuce. That's good.
Yeah.
And I thought,
I gave him the leftovers from my sandwich, the leftover ingredients.
oh, yeah.
And then he used them on his sandwich.
Well, there's actually still some of the ingredients in there.
Is it really?
Yes. So I think I might have a sandwich. Now, I do want to remind everybody or let everybody know that coming up in August, there's going to be a lot of dramatic changes around here. So we're going to be trying different things and recentering everything. But interpreting Larry's language takes practice. My mom and I used to try and play Scrabble with him once in a while.
Can you imagine? I bet he won.
Jackie says, y'all are making me hungry. That's hilarious. That they are the quintessential couple, like farming couple, that it's great to see them interact with one another.
It really is.
And Jackie, you are so sweet.
Admirable.
Yeah. She always got a big smile on her face, and she's like,
yeah.
And, you just got to hug her when you see her. It's great.
For two single men with no clue, we are blessed with many amazing married couples.
Yeah.
And it's still a secret. You ask them, what's your secret?
And they say, I don't know. Or
they do this runaround where you don't know exactly what they said.
Yeah.
Which means to me it is a secret.
Like they're politicians.
It may be a secret from them.
What was it? It probably is.
Yeah, when they say, I don't know how I put up with the,
Yeah. Well, I read something the other day, and it said, we got to stop saying happy wife, happy life, because it's not just about the wife. It should be happy spouse, happy house.
Yeah.
Because both people being happy, it's important.
Yes. But women are more emotional, I think. It seems to have been in my experience.
Steve's like, I can still hook you guys up.
I think that women are more emotional, and you do have to pay careful and close attention to their emotion. Where men aren't as good at showing emotion or responding to it. So you have to actually pay careful attention to listening and knowing how she's feeling, because otherwise it gets away from you.
Yeah.
And there's a point, I think, where the tank gets empty.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's actually out of that book, The 5 Love Languages, about the love tank.
And once it's dead on the side of the road, it requires outside help. Somebody's got to bring some more gas. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. 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 And when I read that, and you would, mic drop, Steve. That's what Steve McAllister says. Steve goes, I can still hook you guys up.
Yeah.
With, the ladies at the nursing home. He's still on that. Which is funny. That's funny. Steve Schultz. So you need to bring us some of them tomatoes, Steve. I'm sure you got some by now, right?
Yeah. He's all about the tomatoes. He's got all kinds of garden stuff, though.
Oh, yeah. And so does Larry, Jackie and Larry. That's one good thing about being friends with them.
I like gourd salad. My sister turned me on to that, like squash and zucchini and stuff like that.
It makes it really gorgeous.
It's a good meaty salad. It's not just
it's
got not your average salad.
No, I didn't like squash or zucchini or anything like that when I was a kid.
No.
But I do like it now. Like I love spaghetti squash.
Yeah.
It takes a while to cook, but when you cook it and then it comes off in strings.
Oh, yeah.
And then you just throw a little pasta sauce in there or some just garlic and butter. Mm. Saute it, get it a little caramelized. Yeah. Oh, man, it's so good. Man, do I have time to do that for lunch today? Go get a spaghetti squash?
I don't know.
And cook it.
It's an involved process.
It is. It is, but worth it. Well worth it. So, nope, still green, he said. Well, you can make fried green tomatoes. You ever had fried green tomatoes?
Oh, they're good, yeah.
They are.
Oh, I've had a lot of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and they are, they're a little bit more bitter than regular tomatoes, and that's what makes them so good.
Yeah.
And, Mom used to fix those whenever I was a kid, and I fixed them, and they they didn't seem as good when I fixed them. Food always tastes better when somebody else prepares it.
Fried foods take a particular amount of patience.
Yeah.
Because you start flipping them and fooling around with them before they're ready, and you ruin them.
Yeah. Like I learned, Jackie says, I heard that gorgeous remark, Matt. Thank you. Somebody acknowledged it. I was like, that's just gorgeous.
They're clever like you. They love your sense of humor.
We all get along great.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of meat did you put on your sandwich, Jay?
There was cilantro. Prosciutto. Was it?
Prosciutto.
Prosciutto. And then there was hard salami and ham.
And then the cheeses.
Cheeses were Asiago,
Parmesan,
and
ricotta.
Provolone and ricotta. So actually, there were 4.
Yeah,
4 cheeses.
And then the
3
onions,
meats, 4 cheeses.
And he commented on those onions were sliced paper thin, and he said that's the way. I mean, that's the way the Italians did it.
There was paper thin sliced onions, very thinly sliced Romano tomatoes, nice deep red ripe ones. Deep red. Even, the juice and the seeds were nice and red. None of it was rotten either.
Oh, nice.
So they were they were really good. I handpicked those. The onion, I picked it according to how it smelled. I wanted it to be a really rich, aromatic. And that's why I sliced it thin and didn't put too much, because it can be kind of woody.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, what else did I do? There was lettuce, Romano lettuce. And it was just the inside of it, not the outside. Heart? Yeah, the heart.
Those are good. That adds a good texture.
Yes, they're very crisp,
snappy,
and very juicy. Yes, so it wasn't dry.
Now I'm getting hungry for one of these things. It was an amazing
parsley,
sandwich.
Fresh parsley, and there was quite a bit of that because parsley doesn't have a real strong flavor.
No, fresh parsley does have a stronger flavor.
It just has a green leafy flavor. It's not a crisp thing or anything like that.
Right.
And it was diced along with the cilantro.
Yeah, it was so good. It
was good. And it was just on white bread. I was going to try a pumpernickel or a rye. There were several different kinds of rye artisan breads, and I thought about doing that. And then I thought, I don't think that's the right fit for this. And I went with the white.
Yeah. And the chef commented on that. He's like, and you know what I like? I like that he used the white bread instead of Italian. And last year you used baguette bread, right? Italian, like loaf bread.
Yes.
And you cut it as it should have been. And
those are hard to get as fresh as they need to be.
Yeah. You need them like right out of the oven.
Right. You have to go to an actual bakery to get one of those that's going to be good right up until the tasting. Otherwise, you need something that's better, got more preservatives, and it's better. And the artisan breads are really good. They're fresh, and they've got the preservatives to stay fresh. Whereas if you just get if you just get an Italian bread out of the supermarket, it's already stale before it even gets there.
Yeah. Now I do like getting
they bag them too soon. Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's all right. No, that's what we're talking about. We actually ended up talking about sandwiches today, which is good because now everybody that's listening is hungry. Jackie says that sandwich sounds like perfection. Y'all should host Sunday sandwiches at church sometime. Now, the only problem with it is it's a super involved.
Took about 10 or 20 minutes to make.
Yes. It's a super involved process because it has to be perfect.
And that was with everything pre-diced and sliced.
Yeah, you did all that the night before.
Yeah.
Tanner was pretty happy about it. He said he enjoyed the sandwich the night before. I think I was in bed. I was in bed.
It was meant to have a special mustard, but I forgot that at home.
What kind of mustard?
I had actual vinegar and olive oil. I can't even remember the kind that it was. It was like a horseradish mustard with a creamy texture with some stone ground mustard in it. It was really, really good.
Did you mix it yourself?
No.
Oh.
No, I bought it. Well, and it had a real spicy, stingy, and I didn't put a lot. And that was the night before. But then that's what I left at home. I had an artisan vinegar and olive oil that I was going to put, but I forgot those at home. So I ended up going with very little tiny bit of Italian dressing instead of vinegar and oil.
So we got real quick because
and feta.
Feta. Oh yeah,
it's seasoned feta.
It was really good. It's Greek seasoned.
Yeah.
But if we walk in the light as He is in the light, we have fellowship with one another. And the blood of Jesus Christ, His Son, cleanses us from all sin. 1 John chapter 1, verse 7. Scripture of the day. Walk in the light as He is in the light. We have fellowship with one another.
Is cleansed different than cleaned?
I think cleansed is the action. And cleaned may be like the lazy way of saying it.
I think cleaned is more of a surface thing. Cleansed is more of a...
like purification.
Yes.
Yeah. So, well, it's about time for us to get out of here. Can you believe it? Now that we've got everybody all hungry, I think while the next video is playing, I'll be probably making one of those sandwiches. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on the morning drive today. We'll be back on tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Be sure and tune in next for Well, we're going to have a classic episode of something. It might be a classic episode of The Learning Curve where Jay and I get into an argument or something. I don't know. We'll find out. Followed by It's Your Call with John Penny and Dwayne Long. It's going to be a lot of fun. Those guys are hilarious. So until then, my friends, may God bless you and keep you. We love you. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
And this has been
The
Morning Drive.